Hello, I'm Steve Barham. I'm Happiness Today on Twitter. For Happiness is No Charge. I've had a hysteria breakdown from my PTSD, evidently, of course. I was painting. I was getting ready to paint, and I had the paint stirrer with my drill and a paint stirrer, and I have it covered with the paint stirrer inside the cover and everything like that, and it's all snapped down and everything. And it's still glopped out one side and got on my shoe and got on my pants and everything, and my sock and stuff, and I just have a fit. I go into hysterics and I have a breakdown. I have a breakdown crying fit. Oh, it's just awful. So I do my technique, the one I've been telling you about. And the one I've done for 10 years now. That works on just everything. And it worked on this episode too. And so for about 10 minutes I was really livid, and just doing the technique and 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 doing the technique, and you know, it took quite a while for it to kind of break up and just kind of reduce, because there's shock. There's shock that happened. I had a flash that might happen, so I checked to see if it was snapped down, and it was, but just not in this one spot. So I did everything I could, you know, I thought of everything, you know, and stuff like that. It just didn't hold, you know, and I got all agitated and aggravated and mad and angry, and the shock got to me and the stress, and you're traumatized by it. Well, I'm already traumatized from the PTSD, post-traumatic stress, so I'm already, you know, stressed, and I'm already traumatized and stuff, and now here's just this episode which sets the whole thing off again. And that's what it's like to have PTSD. Okay, you just keep getting set off and set off and set off by another stress. And it doesn't even have to be related to the original stress. Mine comes from illness last decade. I have Graves' disease and no thyroid. My thyroid burned out, and I had a severe case of candida overgrowth in the intestines and the leaky gut syndrome. And it was horrific on the body. It really hits your autoimmune system to have bowel matter leaking into your body. Okay, and it goes everywhere. That means your brain. Okay, I used to hurt from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, and it turned out to be the leaky gut syndrome leaking cayenne pepper. It's an irritant, and when it gets into the bloodstream and goes through your body, it irritates the whole body. It stopped when I stopped having cayenne pepper and spices with my food. You're leaking food into your body. Okay, you're leaking bowel matter and toxins into your body. And that's why I'm fallow in the cheeks, is because it hits you in the autoimmune system. It is not a disorder. It is an out-and-out sickness and a condition. Okay? It isn't something that just happens out of the blue. It happens for a very good reason. Okay? My good gut bacteria was killed off, and that allowed the candida bacteria to grow into the fungal form and cover my intestines and eat. It kind of thins your intestinal lining. It puts down feet, and it can drill with tendrils into your intestines and make holes. So you have leaky gut syndrome after that. And so that all got taken care of and everything like that. It's been taken care of since 2007, but here it is 12 years later, and I've still got a lot of symptoms and emotional problems from the lack of thyroid, which causes anxiety and depression, and a few other things they haven't told you yet. Okay. Just overall general sensitivity to every single solitary thing. A person can't take 1 ounce, 1 featherweight of pressure or stress. And so you have this syndrome. It isn't really post-traumatic stress disorder. It is actually post-traumatic stress syndrome, a declining condition of descending characteristic symptoms. Okay, a syndrome, post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSS. That's really what I look at it as. There can be brain issues with that. Just cortisol from stress can attack the hippocampus and make it shrink. And people who have, there's a guy here in the mobile home park who also has PTSD from being in the Navy, and he has a shrunken hippocampus. And it's from the stress releasing all the cortisol, and the cortisol attacks evidently it attacks the hippocampus, and that affects probably more than just 2 things, but one thing is emotions, because it's part of the limbic system, and the other is memory. The hippocampus is used in memory. Emotions are also used in memory. And so anyway, I did my technique and did my technique and did my technique, and I'm doing much better, and at least I won't have a ruined 6 to 8 hours. I had a ruined 30 minutes. In 10 minutes I was still pretty livid. In 20 minutes it was kind of going down, and in about 30 minutes it was basically really ending. Now this is a simple 3-step technique. The first step is to recognize what that is. Okay, well, I'm in shock, so I look at the shock, my state of shock, and that is shock. Okay, so I identify it. I work with what is called emotional charge in my emotional research. And emotional charge is the energy in an emotion, of an emotion, and behind an emotion. And shock is behind every negative emotion. It goes along with every negative emotion. So 1 step down from bliss is not quite so blissful, because there was a shock that knocked a person out of bliss. Something unexpected happened, something traumatic happened, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just not quite so blissful. Okay? Or it can be total apathy, totally suppressed, oppressed, repressed, and totally depressed, which is apathy. Pointless, helpless, hopeless, useless, worthless, etc. is our levels of apathy. Meaningless. It's pointless to do that. There's no point in doing that. It's futile. That's apathy. Okay? And there are physiological symptoms with that. And so I just wanted to make this video and tell you about my recent experience and how the technique helped me. So I'm Steve Barham. I'm Happiness Today on Twitter. For happiness is no charge. Click a link. Oh, well, this will probably be on my website, so you don't need to click a link to go to my website. You can just go down the page and read a little bit more about it. But you have nothing to lose by giving the technique a try. I have these problems. I have all of the problems that I blog about. And the technique really, really, really helps. So if you or someone you know has these problems, get them the technique. Get the technique, give it a try. If you get the Kindle version, whether you get the Kindle version or the DVD version, email me. Email me from the blog site. I have my email address there, and you can just email me. And so I have a list of emotional charges you can start to work on and take down, and they go by ranges. So there's the pressure range, there's stress range, there's anxiety range, there's PTSD range, hysteria and PTSD range, distraught, overwrought, raw nerves. And there's the depression range all the way down through the suicidal range and apathetic range, etc., 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 etc. And I will send you a free updated copy of my list of emotions. All you ought to do is just show me that you bought it off of Amazon or Kunaki. Send me a copy of your email receipt, you know. And so thank you for watching. I hope you found some value out of this and got some benefit, and I hope you give the technique a try so that it can help at least stop that particular emotion or that particular episode, just like it helped me today. And you won't have a ruined day either. Love and peace. Take care. We'll see you next time.